mid-1950s, the art of karate, and even the word itself, was totally unknown in America. Then in 1957, a young man from Honolulu named Ed Parker opened the first commercial karate school in the United States. Within a short period of time, other practitioners, mostly Asian, followed suit. And with the discovery of this mysterious, exotic Asian art by the American motion picture and television communities, its popularity soared among middle-class Americans. By the mid-60s, the art had spread like wildfire and gone from a small handful of practitioners to thousands. And it had been turned into a spectacularly exciting sport. But because it was only offered in private schools being operated for profit, it took several years for the art to find its way into the lower economic levels of the American population. Then in 1964, Ed Parker created what was to become the largest and most prestigious karate tournament worldwide. He named it the International Karate Championships, and it became the tournament to win above all others, producing such notables as Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris.
Lead here is something big to win because this is where Bruce Lee started and Mike Stone and all the great karate competitors from the 70s until up to the 80s, you know, and so it's a big thing to come out here to compete with some of the best martial artists in the world and try to win this tournament.
The internationals were so popular that the very first championships drew over 5,000 competitors, making it the largest of its kind in history. And at that tournament, the African-American participation was easily less than 1%. The mid-1960s was a period of heavy political and racial upheaval, and when the African-American population finally did begin making their numbers felt in the martial arts community, they weren't exactly greeted with open arms. Many African-Americans felt the judging was biased, to say the least, and if a point of contention was raised, the black competitor had little or no representation to plead his case. It was around this time the two African-American black belts met, became friends, and decided to work together to change the way the African-American competitors were being treated in tournament karate. Their names are Steve Sanders and Donnie Williams, and this is the story of how they led the way for the African-American martial artists into the world of competition karate. The Chinese population had its martial arts icon in Bruce Lee, the Europeans in Jean-Claude Van Damme, the Japanese, Toshiro Mifune, and the Americans, Chuck Norris. While the vast African-American community has had incredibly talented martial artists, they've never really been marketed by the entertainment industry. Steve and Donnie hatched a plan. They would open the first African-American karate school in the United States. Joined by 5 other black belts, they leased a boarded-up commercial building in riot-torn South Central Los Angeles and tapped into the ghetto streets to recruit the school's raw talent. It was not smooth sailing, and before long, they found out that street tough is not enough in the martial arts. What they ended up with was a bunch of loose cannons, but what they needed to make their mark was a disciplined fighting team that could win the team trophy at the International Karate Championships. Their personal storylines bring compelling drama to the picture. For Steve, it's the resolution of being estranged from his father because of a problem with the law as a young man that changed the course of his life. And for Donnie, the martial arts proved to be the vehicle that helped resolve his deep-seated hatred and bring him to peace with his white brothers and himself. Although it's much more a people's story than an action film, there will be action, a lot of action. And this is the kind of action that packed the Long Beach sports arena for 3 decades and kept the spectators on the edge of their seats. At the film's conclusion, the Black Karate Federation wins the coveted International Team Trophy, which for the African-American martial artists was their long overdue breakthrough, and they never looked back. The epilogue will tell the audience that it was only the beginning, because they repeated that victory for the next 8 consecutive years.